is Trent Dilfer. How are you, Trent?
What's up, brother? I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, but hanging in there.
Oh, gosh, it's that time of year. It's that time of
Yeah.
year, Trent. Hang in there now. Hang in
Dumb
there
planes.
now. So
All these planes.
So what did you make of the Saturday night affair, if you will, between the Steelers and the Bengals? What did you make of that end game, Trent?
Well, I find it sad. I mean, you think about how much goes in to a long season, a playoff run, the Bengals, everything they've overcome, losing their quarterback and the resilience. And I mean, just, the storylines around them. And to have a couple guys lose their temper and cost them the game, I feel bad for them. I really do. I feel bad for the team. I don't feel bad for Montez Perfect or Pac-Man Jones, but I feel bad for all the people that are impacted by just foolishness and knucklehead behavior.
Yeah, well, I mean, people are laying that at the feet of Marvin Lewis. Do you think that's fair?
I don't. I think that you can only do so much as a head coach. There's a lot of great head coaches in the Hall of Fame that had players that were reckless off the field, reckless on the field, made poor decisions. There's only so much moral authority a head coach can have in the league. I think it speaks less to the head coach, more to the other leaders in the locker room. I think if you have a really strong locker room, this stuff doesn't happen because the strongest guys in the locker room will take these guys aside and say, hey, this will never happen. Whether it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 months ago. When your team is policed and governed by the players, it's usually it's a far better situation than when it's governed by the head coach.
Well, then how does an outside linebacker assistant wind up out on the field, Trent? How does that happen? What's Joey Porter doing out there?
I'm assuming he was out there trying to get everybody apart. And again, I haven't spent all day talking about this, but when Antonio Brown, this is one of the most beloved players in the league. When he's out there with that type of injury, I think everybody kind of was shell-shocked. And you kind of started seeing both benches just kind of morph out there a little bit. I'm sure people got disoriented out of their concern with Antonio being out there and possibly being hurt. But again, that stuff shouldn't happen, but it does.
All right, then let's get to what you saw out of A.J. McCarron. Do you think there's more than just the it looks like there's quite a bit of there, Trent, for Cincinnati to evaluate even when Andy Dalton returns. Would you say that is a fair assessment?
Yeah, he's got more juice than I think people thought he did coming out in the draft. Athletically, can extend plays a little bit better than I remember him doing in Alabama. I do think that we gave him a hall pass on some pretty egregious mistakes. He really struggled with throwing a wet ball early on. He was big play AJ, for lack of a better term. He made big plays when they needed him, and I don't want to take that away from him, but he wasn't real consistent. Struggled throwing the ball at times. I do like what's there. I like his makeup. I like his personality. I don't like it more than Andy Dalton, but I like it. And I think it's going to be an interesting conversation this offseason because people love the drama and the controversy. But I'm pretty sure that Andy Dalton's going to be the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, so then let's get to the overall assessment of first-time quarterbacks this weekend. I don't think it's any coincidence that all four road teams won on Wild Card Weekend for the first time ever when all four home teams were starting first-time playoff quarterbacks. What's so difficult about playing in that atmosphere for the first time, Trent?
Well, I think there's a lot of layers to it, Rich. I think number one, it's what you go through in the week of preparation. We're creatures of habit. We have routines that are built in for the season. And then you go and you play in these playoff games and your routines are flipped upside down because there's so much national attention, especially around the quarterback. So, 20% of your day now, there's 20% more added to your day with all the demands that go along with being the quarterback of a playoff team. I think also coaches get a little tight, right, around playoff time, and that pressure from the coaches tends to trickle down onto the quarterback. So there's a lot of anxiety many times. And then coaches prepare more for you. I think in the regular season, you typically get the offense prepared against. In the playoffs, they prepare against the quarterback. So they'll break down and see what you struggle with. For instance, do you not like it when there's pressure to your throwing arm? or do you not like throwing into cover 2 to your left, or whatever it is, the things that make you feel uncomfortable, and they're going to major in those things to take away the quarterback. So I was lucky. I got really good advice about that a long time ago when I was going in, so you can prepare for it. But some of these guys just think it's the same season. It's just like the regular season. It's just not.
Trent Dilfer from ESPN, fighting through the cold. I appreciate it here on the Rich Eisen show. So what was so different about the Green Bay offense? It looked like the last 10 weeks of struggles never happened after the first quarter yesterday in D.C. with Aaron Rodgers. What did you see, Trent?
Well, I saw the tempo. They were more multiple with their up-tempo offense. So they like jumping into that high-tempo stuff where they call it a sugar huddle, where they're kind of not really huddling, but everybody's walking by Aaron at the line of scrimmage. It's one way to no huddle. They're usually pretty predictable out of that. Yesterday, they were really multiple, both in personnel groupings, formations, types of plays they ran. So Aaron did a lot at the line of scrimmage, getting them organized. I think that broken play touchdown on the top gave them a ton of juice. It was kind of like hey, we tricked you. You're going to try to substitute versus us when we're in no huddle, and we got you. One of those ha-ha-ha moments where Green Bay probably practiced that all week, going quick and snapping the ball when Washington was trying to substitute against the no huddle, and they caught him and they scored a touchdown on it. I think that gave them a huge boost of energy. And then they ran on the edges, and I think – if you look at how Green Bay's been, their offense has been attacked this year, they attack the tackles and pass rush. Well, if those outside backer, defensive end type players are rushing hard on the edges to get to Aaron Rodgers, well, then if you're running at them, those same players, it's going to wear them down. They're going to play a little higher because they're in pass rush mode. And I thought Green Bay did a great job attacking the edges of the Redskins' defense in the run game. They were geared up to rush Aaron Rodgers instead. Green Bay kind of went slobber knocker football on them on the edges, and I thought that was a great counterpunch by Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers, the two that were calling the plays.
And you've known Alex Smith for a long time, former teammates with him in San Francisco, and here he comes now into New England, a team that he once famously last year on Monday Night Football sent on to Cincinnati. It was part of that blowout. How concerned should New England be about Alex Smith coming into that house?
I think New England's just got to be concerned that they haven't played very well the last few weeks. And everybody says getting Edelman back is going to be the secret sauce, and I do think it'll help a lot. But that offensive line, to me, I think that they got to be concerned that they can protect Tom Bali and Justin Houston. They got to be concerned whether they can move Dontari Poe. They got to be concerned whether they can get open against Peters and Smith. I don't think it's Alex Smith as much as it is New England's offense looking at this defense and saying, wow, we don't match up very well. Alex also, we tried to say this in the pregame show, he plays much more aggressive in the playoffs. You go back and watch the New Orleans games in San Francisco, the New York Giants game. Sure. He plays more aggressive in the playoffs. He's a different type of player. I love it. I think he has 10 touchdowns, 1 interception in the playoffs. He's a very good player in the playoffs. New England's looking at this going, okay, a little more vertical threat against us, and I'm sure there's some nervous people in New England.
Yeah, sure. And then last one for you before I let you go to your Dayquil. Peyton Manning, how effective do you think he's going to wind up being, along with Big Ben with this AC joint in the game that we're expecting to see him not 100%? I'd love you to suss out those two QBs for the last game of the divisional weekend. Trent.
We'll start with Ben. I have no issues with Ben. I had 11 AC separations. Kind of an expert with AC joint separations. By the end of the week, he'll be fine. He keeps it moving. There's some minor injections you can do, numbing stuff you can do to put in the joint. Ben will be fine. The big issue there will be is if he falls on the elbow again and it kind of lights it up, he'll deal with some pain. But I was actually surprised Ben didn't come in the game faster after I saw the hit. So I'm not concerned at all about Ben. I think with Peyton, it's the next game. If they win this, it's how does he recover after this game? I don't think there'll be an issue in this game. You saw him push off his back foot to get to the deep outs. 2 of the 9 passes he threw when he came in the other day. Deep outs to the right. It looks like he pushed fine. He played under center. He was able to get, explode from under center and work the run game. I really don't think the injury is going to be that big of a deal. I'm more concerned with after this game and all the stresses of playing a full football game in the playoffs. If they were to win, does he bounce back in time for the AFC Championship game? So I think that's really the bigger issue. Is it playing one time? Is can he bounce back and play multiple games in a row with this injury?
Trent, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Let's chat again soon, okay? Feel better.
For you, buddy, anything, anytime.
Thanks, pal. That's Trent Dilfer at TDESPN.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.